Hello and welcome back to part 4 of this tutorial. So in the previous part we learned how to score, and in this part we will get the ball back into the game once we have scored, because now it's just flying out into infinity when we score. Let's start by first tidying up a bit. Inside of your hierarchy you can move the goals. We name the goal 1 to goal 1, move the goals to environment, and then it looks a little bit better at least. Now inside of game manager I think we will need a reference to our ball to make it easier to change its position. We won't be destroying the ball and instantiating it. It's not needed for this. Just wasted. You can just move the transform of it every time someone scored. Serialized field, private game object, ball. Okay, go back to Unity, go to the game manager and drag the ball inside of the ball slot. Okay, now we can remove these debugs because we know it works. What we want to do now is, once we have made a goal, what do we want to do with the ball? Usually in Pong you attach it to the player who, I don't really remember, is it the one that scored or got scored? Anyway, we attach it to one of the players who will start with a serve, or what you want to call it. But I don't really see the point of that, because you can't really change the direction on which the ball is flying. So I think it's a bit more fun if we make the ball start in the center position and then go into a random direction when someone presses space or something. So let's start by instantiating it in the center. Let's create a empty game object and call it ball start position and reset its position. In this case it's in the middle when it's 0, 0, 0, so we doesn't really need a ball start position, but we'll go with it anyway. And let's child the ball to this ball start position and move its position to 0. Alright. And now we go inside of the game manager again. Create a method. It can be private this time. Private void reset ball. And for this to work we actually need the reference to our ball position as well. So let's get it. Serialized field, private transform ball start position. Go inside of Unity, press game manager and move the ball start position into ball start position. And in the code we just do ball.transform equals to ball start position. Ball.transform.position is equal to ball start position dot position. Alright, like that. And when do we want to call this? Well, after we have scored. So here let's call reset ball. Let's see if this works. Go back into Unity. And so yeah, we can see it works. It's always having a speed, so we should probably reset the speed as well. We can do that in the same script. Reset ball. And then let's get the reference to, do we have a setter in the ball script? We only have a move speed that is set in the awake, so we should probably change this. So a bit of refactoring here. Private void start ball, let's call it. And then we set this over here. And let's make it public, because we probably want the game manager to call on this method, I think. Let's set it public now, we might change it later. Okay. And now if we keep everything as it is, the ball should stand entirely still instead. Yep. So let's get a reference to the ball component of ball. So private ball script. And then in the start method, we will run the start ball method of the ball script. Start ball. We will later move this to be in a be triggered by a key press or something, but for now it's okay sitting here. Let's go back and we should see the ball starting once we press play. Yes, perfect. And also when we score, we should see the ball be transferred to the center and stand still. But it didn't, because why? Oh, because we didn't reset its velocity or position. Let's also make a method to stop the ball, which will set its rigid body dot velocity equals to 0. And then from the game manager script, when we reset the ball, we also take ball script dot stop ball. Now it should stand still once we have scored. Okay, it should be vector 2.0. Now velocity is a vector, so you can't just assign it a number. Okay, let's try it. Yeah, and it's sitting here. Alright, let's do a final thing and make it able to start again once we press a key. So where should we do that is the question. Should we handle that in the game manager object or in the ball? I think we should do it in the ball object, so let's try that first. Then we need a boolean to know if the ball is stopped or moving. Private bool is moving equals to false. So every time we start the ball, we set is moving equals to true, and every time we stop the ball, let's set is moving equals to false. Then in the update method, if input dot get button get button down, and then let's go with jump, that's the space button, it's called jump. Then we start the ball, start ball. But we forgot, not only here, if we have pressed the jump button and is moving is equal to false, so is false, then we should start the ball, not if it's already moving. And right now we have only the start direction. We will change this later to be something else, something randomized perhaps. But for now, let's go with the start position, start direction. Also, let's in the game manager remove this now. We don't need it anymore. We can just start the ball by pressing space, which means this should now be private, because game managers should not start the ball anymore. We should do it from inside of the ball script. Okay, go back inside of Unity and try it out. So when we start the game, the ball should be still now. It's still, and if I press space, we should be starting the move. Yes, and if we score, perfect. It works exactly as intended. I think that's all for this time. Oh, one final thing before we quit for the day. We forgot to do this last day as well. We should push our changes, commit them, and you can put a describing name or a comment here. I will just put ball resets and score in place. Okay, wait for it to complete. Great. Now we can see you next time. Bye bye.